Hello everyone. We finally have an update in the Ruby Franke case, and it is honestly the best possible outcome we could have had. The family YouTuber mom who was arrested for child abuse alongside her notorious business partner Jodi Hildebrandt has pled guilty to 4 counts of second-degree aggravated child abuse. I honestly never thought the day would come when Ruby would admit that she was wrong, but here we have it. Ruby would be shown in a gray and white jumpsuit in court as she accepted a plea deal, and I will play the video for you now as she accepts her guilty plea.
With my deepest regret and sorrow for my family and my children, guilty.
Now, these charges run from 1 to 15 years each, and so she could face anywhere from 4 years to 60 years in prison if this is the case. We currently don't have any information on her actual sentencing yet. However, what has come out has been extremely shocking because there are a lot of new details about what Ruby actually did to the children. Now, according to new statements, it was Jodi who actually influenced Ruby to experience, and I quote, a distorted sense of morality, end quote, saying that Jodi essentially took advantage of Ruby's quest for self-improvement and twisted it into something heinous. Being separated from Jodi and now in prison has allegedly helped Ruby reset her moral compass and understand the full weight of what she actually has done, which is allegedly why she is now pleading guilty. And in my opinion, it kind of reminds me of someone who is in a cult and is brainwashed in a cult. And then when they are separated from this cult and they actually can, think for themselves, they see the clearer picture of, an actual reality, not the distorted reality that the cult created. Not that she gets any sympathy from me from what she has done. And I have even less sympathy for her now that I know what she did and the extent that she went to torture her children. In Ruby's plea deal, she has admitted that she tortured her son Russell and daughter Eve from May 22nd to August 30th of this year through numerous things, such as forcing Russell into hours of physical tasks in the summer heat, working outdoors without adequate water, and when he would sneak water for himself, he would be punished for it. And due to him working outside in this scorching summer heat, it's said that he would get repeated and serious sunburns that both blistered and had skin sloughing off in places. As I said, Russell was denied water for several days at a time. He was also denied food, and when he was given food, it would be plain meals such as plain rice and chicken. Meanwhile, everyone else was allowed to eat whatever they wanted in front of him and as much as they wanted. He was also continuously isolated from anyone else. He was always kept alone. He wasn't allowed to have any books, notebooks, electronics, nothing. He had to sit in a room by himself like a prisoner in solitary confinement. Now, it actually turns out that Russell had tried to run away one time before in July, but he was caught and then he was punished more severely. It's said that after this, his hands and feet began to get bound. At times, rope was also used to tie together handcuffs, and then he was essentially hog-tied where he was laying on his stomach with his arms and legs behind his back in the air. This would end up causing injuries, which Jodi would then make a concoction of both honey and cayenne pepper and put this on his wounds. I also seen that they began to duct tape his wounds so that they could put the restraints on him and not cause further injury. Ruby has also admitted to kicking Russell while she was wearing boots, holding his head underwater, and smothering his nose and mouth with her hands. And he was told that everything that was happening to him was an act of love. I just feel so bad for these kids. And I am honestly shocked. And I think Ruby is extremely lucky that one of them didn't die from these things that they were doing. Holding a child's head underwater, smothering them, denying them water while working in hot summer weather. It was a recipe for disaster. And she is so lucky that something worse didn't happen to them and that she is not going to prison for murder. And to think that just a year prior to all of this happening, she was a vlogger, a family vlogger on YouTube, filming their everyday lives and posting it for everyone to watch. Now, Ruby has also admitted to doing similar things to her 9-year-old daughter, Eve, which is her youngest child. She's admitted to forcing Eve to work outside, run on dirt roads barefoot, and go without food and water as well. Eve was also repeatedly told that she was possessed. So it was honestly so much worse than I could have ever imagined for these 2 little children. And to think that if Russell hadn't have successfully escaped the second time he tried to escape, this would still be going on with them. They would still be going through all of this. It's awful, and my heart hurts that these children never experienced true love from their mother. The mental toll that this must have taken on these children and the trauma to have all of this done to you and to be told it's in the name of love and that it's your fault that this is happening to you, the gaslighting that was going on, I cannot imagine. And I honestly can't imagine if this is the reality of what was happening during all those years when they were vlogging off of camera, because there were so many red flags that were happening on camera that drew so much attention to this family that pissed a lot of people off. If this was the stuff that was happening after they stopped vlogging. It makes me wonder what was also happening to the other children off of camera, because we know of a lot of bad things that were, but what don't we know at this point? I'm not shocked that these children ran as far as they could as soon as they turned 18. It's unimaginable. And meanwhile, Ruby was preaching this, influencing other parents to follow her parenting style. It's wild, and I truly hope that no one actually followed her and fell for this, because that means there are probably other children out there who are also being abused by their parents now because of Ruby Franke and Jodi Hildebrandt's sick and twisted vision of parenthood. And I hope now more than anything that these children can find true peace and realize that it truly was not their fault, and that this is not what true love is, and that this doesn't affect them for the rest of their lives. And I hope that they can get whatever help they do need now after what they've experienced. Now, in other news, I did see that Ruby's husband and the children's father, Kevin Franke, has actually finally filed for divorce against Ruby. Because as we know, he was taken away from the family for about, I don't know, a year or more prior to all of this happening. Although I still question how much of an involvement he had, because he was around his children and his family for the whole time that they were vlogging. And he was part of all of that. And we do know some very bad things were happening when the vlogs were going on. So it makes me wonder how guilty he is as well. Now, he has not really came out and said much to the public and made many statements about how he's feeling and, you know, his place in all of this. But I did see that he allegedly claims he had no clue any of this was going on because he wasn't with the family. He was separated from them. He wasn't allowed to see his children or Ruby, according to Jodi's decision about their marriage. However, I really don't think that Kevin is that great of a person either. And besides just all of the vlogs and him being involved with all of that and the parenting style back then, in October, police body cam footage came out of Kevin trying to have his oldest daughter, Sherry, arrested for burglary after she took some items from the family home that he wasn't even living in anymore. However, thankfully, when police arrived and they tried to defuse the situation, they told Kevin that they didn't agree and they couldn't charge her with burglary because she actually didn't burglarize anything. It wasn't actually a true theft. And Kevin did not seem very happy about this, that his daughter wasn't going to be going to jail. I'm gonna play that clip for you now.
There you go. Is it all there?
Yes. Yeah, explain to me again why this was not robbery.
Because it's a civil issue. It's, you guys are family. She's been in the house before. You haven't been in the house in a year. She had interest in the items. She didn't take them with the intention to deprive you of them. So theft, that's the theft code. We have to prove intent to deprive you of the items. And that wasn't her intent in having them. So the detective sergeant said that we're not going to charge her for anything.
Okay. I'll have to do some more research on that.
You're welcome to do that. If you want to follow up with our detective, do yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll be here on Tuesday. His name's Sergeant McCoy. Okay. You're welcome. Take care.
Now, seeing that, considering everything that's going on, you know, the mother of your child is in jail for, you know, child abuse, and he knows everything now that has happened, and you know everything that your child is going through, yet you want them to be arrested. What father does that? And just seeing him in that instance seem very calculated, especially when he tells the cop, like, well, I'm going to look into it further then, because he still wants his daughter to be charged, even though the cops are saying, you know, this is all resolved, like, let's just step away from this, you know, go back doing your own things, like, nothing actually, you know, was burglarized here, and he still is trying to push the issue. Like, what father does that? And that right there makes me question how great of a guy Kevin truly is. Especially since he went along with the Jodi's whole thing about him being separated from his family. If he was a true man, a true father, he should have told her to go to hell, that this was his home and he was going to make the decisions there, not this random fucking woman that stepped in and started controlling all of their lives and allegedly abusing his children. Like, what? And that is honestly, in my opinion, why I feel like Kevin is in some way complicit in all of this. Now, did he directly lay his hands on his children or do anything of those sorts? Maybe not. But I still think he is somewhat complicit, and I hope he has a guilty conscience for everything that has happened, because he's the one that left. Even if it was Jodi forced him to leave. That was his home. Some random woman just forced him to leave. Insane to me. Just absolutely insane. It would never have happened in my household, let me tell you that. Now, after everything, I did see that Sherry has also been fighting in court to try to get custody of her siblings. However, as far as I have seen, the proceedings have now been sealed, so we aren't really going to know the outcome of it, if it has been ruled by now, because it's been a few months now. Unless someone like outright comes out and says something after the fact. Sherry has been very open about the situation and how she is feeling about everything. She was very happy when her mother got arrested because she had said that she knew stuff was going on this whole time and she was trying to have the police involved and it just wasn't working. But Sherry has now more recently shared her true feelings and how this experience has affected her, saying, and I quote, "There's literally not even words to describe how upside down my life has become. I've cried, had an infinite number of panic attacks, had way too much ice cream, and yet life goes on. Therapy has literally saved me, but God has too." End quote. So that is currently all of the updates we have on this Ruby Franke situation and the 8 passengers. Again, this is probably the most positive outcome we could have had in this, where Ruby just pled guilty and didn't force her children in court to take the stand and talk about what they went through and just re-victimize and re-traumatize them all over again. But what I now want to know is how you all feel about this. Let's have a chat down below. Is there any other information that you found that I didn't include in here that I don't know about? If more information comes out on this, I will try to keep you all updated. And as always, if there are any cases you want me to look into and cover, let me know down below as well, and I will do my best to look into them. And from here, I hope you all stay safe out there. Lock your windows and doors. If you have children, hug them tighter tonight, because there are some people out there that treat their children like this, and it is awful, and no child should have to experience something like that. They should know true love from their parents. Yeah, I hope to see you all in the next video.